Oh my goodness, I am blown away by their coffee. Is McDonald's coffee good? Well, today we're gonna find out in episode 2 of the Coffee Chain Challenge. I'm Emery, the coffee roaster here at Wilson & Claire Coffee, and I'm going through and tasting 18 coffees from different chains to find out who has the best coffee. Now we're doing a blind taste test as always, and today we're comparing McDonald's against Crystals and Bojangles as we rank all these different coffees against themselves. So is McDonald's coffee good? Well, let's find out. All right, well at first glance, these coffees all look roughly about the same just by the color. This one in the middle is a little bit lighter than the other two. We'll see if that actually plays into the taste in just a moment. All right, so we'll start off with tasting over here on the right. I kind of don't know what to make of that. The initial flavor was like some nice deep nuttiness, and then immediately it was like you were like reading through a book and it's like you see something scary and you immediately flip to the next page. That's kind of a weird analogy, but that's what it felt like. Yeah, I'm so confused by this coffee on this, honestly. Nothing overly spectacular. All right, moving on to coffee number 2. Oh, some really nice like caramel flavors in there. Like, don't get me wrong, it's still these overtones of kind of darker coffee, but some very pleasant like toasted caramel flavors. Now it's very monochromatic, if you will. Like, that's the flavor I'm getting and nothing else. There's like nothing else that this coffee is contributing to the conversation. But surprisingly, no really bitter aftertaste. I'd say like the lingering flavor on the palate is really just, pleasant memories of coffee. All right, so moving on to number 3. Let's see what we got over here. This is something I've noticed with these chain coffees between episode 1 and today. So many of them start off strong. They start off like they have a great contribution to society and then immediately kind of give up like it's been too much work to get this far, And that's the way this coffee tastes. Yeah, up front it's like I'm seeing a mirage. That's what it's like. I've been traveling through the desert of poor quality coffee and I see off in the distance like faint recollections of a memory of good tasting coffee. Some like nice nutty flavors, maybe a little bit of caramel, maybe even some brown sugar in there. And then they slowly fade away and you realize you're still stuck in the desert of mediocre coffee with nothing to contribute to lift your spirits in the way of quality coffee. But overall, it's actually still pretty decent. If anything, this may be a tough battle between these to find out which one is the best. Okay, let's go through another round to see how these stack up. Okay, again, great upfront flavor, immediately going into back into that desert. It's that Mirage coffee. But I feel like this one right here, the aftertaste becomes so dark afterwards that it's kind of so disappointing. But that initial sip is just so pleasant, Yeah, I don't want to keep drinking that because of that dark and bitter aftertaste. And this one I'm really torn. It's decent, but really I'm not getting flavors. I'm just getting coffee. It's like nondescript coffee. Whereas this, like I'm getting some nice nuttiness in that. Yeah, if anything, it's kind of like, oh wow, I get a sip, initial up front of just coffee, then I get the nuttiness, and then it kind of just fades away. Okay, so I think I'm ready to make my final decision on the ranking of these 3 coffees. Remember, we have McDonald's, Bojangles, and Crystals. See how they pan out. So in 3rd place is our Mirage coffee. Great flavor up front, but unfortunately that bitterness aftertaste is just not doing it for me. So let's find out who this is. Bojangles. Oh, I have to admit, that was really heartbreaking. I was kind of cheering for Bojangles all along because I was like, I kind of like Bojangles. I love their Bowberry biscuits, and it's kind of too bad that they came in 3rd place. Okay, so that's what I'm ranking as our 3rd place coffee. Then number 2, I'm gonna go with this one. Again, not a lot of character, but not too much bitterness to the point where I feel depressed. This one, I feel depressed. So this is our number 2, which is, McDonald's. Oh my goodness, friends. We got McDonald's in 2nd place with a mediocre coffee, and that means that Crystals is coming number 1. Oh my goodness, I have to admit. So when I was initially ranking or setting out all the different coffees that I wanted to review, I kind of didn't even think about Crystals. But I was like, well, I'll throw it out there because, it's not too far from my house, and so I'll just throw it in there. But I am blown away by their coffee. It is took tight. If I could, I would rate these very closely, but still this one beats out this one. The McDonald's coffee just doesn't have enough character to really draw me back for another sip, whereas this Crystal's coffee, I'm surprised. It's actually pretty good. All right, folks, so there you have it. This has been episode 2. If you want to check out our next episode, just click right over here, and I'll see you over there.